Hey. Oh my
All righty then.
gosh. It's a day. It's a
Oh,
day. It's a day.
a day that ends with laughter is always a good day. I'm
Okay.
just saying.
You get
Clown,
right.
silly.
Yeah, y'all, we made this into the movie reel because, it's just
Yep,
been a day.
yep.
Okay. So, hello everyone and welcome to Chief and Assist, the power behind the chair. I'm Denise Dawson. I am a business program manager and former EA with over 20 years experience. Let me hand over to my co-host, Miss Anne Marie.
Thank you, Janice. AnneMarie Otanez. I'm a current chief of staff. Been doing this role for a very long time. And I'm so excited to join Janice today in our podcast. We hope that you've been enjoying it. We're going to deviate a little bit from the topics that we usually do because our conversations are really around some of the more meaty things around being a successful partnership between the chief of staff and the EA. But the world is crazy right now. Everybody's tired. And one of the things that we thought would be helpful to talk to you about is self care, especially in our roles with everything that we juggle every day. What do you think, Janice? I think this would be a great thing for us to talk about.
Did you see how he opened? Yeah, I think we need to talk about it.
There's so much that, like, the jobs are already overwhelming. I had a sneak peek into what Janice did, and that was a million things plus. And she's had a sneak peek into what I do. And they're both just overwhelming positions. They can be very, very lonely positions, which is why this partnership, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important partnerships, because this is the one space where we can actually talk about everything that's going on, but we're being held to a different level of confidentiality with the information that we have. And self care is so, so important. And it shouldn't be just this thing that, we talk about in a trite way and you do it once in a blue moon. Like, you really have to take care of yourself. You really have to set boundaries. You really have to walk away from that laptop, walk away from that cell phone, turn off the notifications. That's one of my pro tips. I don't have any notifications that go off on my phone. The only ones that go off are for certain text messages from people in my favorite groups.
Yep.
And I've identified those individuals. And then I have an alarm system in my home. I don't have work notifications that go off ever. I turned that stuff off a long time ago because it's too much. Like, what do you think, Janice?
You know, I I aspire to be that way, but it's tricky
It
when
is.
when you're the EA
Mm-hmm.
because you're literally dealing with the time
Yes.
of that leader. So, I know that my manager at one point was so notorious for those Saturday morning texts about, hey, am I doing this on Monday? Or, hey, can you get me time with, my manager? Or, and, you're like trying to enjoy your weekend with your
Mm-hmm.
family. And it's just for EAs, it honestly, it just isn't always possible
Yeah.
because you're literally on 24/7. Now, be clear, make sure you get compensated for that. But however, if
Yes.
they want you on, you need to be,
Yeah.
you have to be available. So what I would do, like when I wasn't on vacation, I'd get notifications, but only like you said, the favorites. So of
Hmm.
course my manager was a favorite.
Sure.
My chief of staff is a favorite. Those
Sure.
are folks that those are fire. They need to,
Yeah.
come through at all times. So those were my exceptions. But I do agree that you have to unplug. And for me, I at the time when I was in EA, I had a family of I have I had 6 kids and a husband that
Mm.
I needed to,
Mm.
give my time and attention to. And it was very, it's a mind drain.
It is. It is.
you know, and it would be funny because I have another EA, a friend of mine, who we would talk about. We'd sit in our office and we'd talk about what are we going to do over the weekend. We're going to lay on the couch and look at the ceiling, and that's literally what you would do because your
No.
brain is so fried
Yes.
from so much interactions that you have going on. And I remember one time my ex-husband said this really offensive
Mm.
comment to me around, well, it's not like you're doing hard labor. That's what he said. He said that. And,
Mm.
you know, um, I don't remember how bad I cussed him out, but know that I did.
Yes, you did.
However, your brain is constantly having to
Yes.
be worked on. Negotiating time is not like a brainless or a
Mm-mm.
thoughtless act. You are out there constantly trying to negotiate time, and with other executives too. Oh my gosh, like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's nonstop. It could be going for days for one
Yeah.
meeting. One
Yeah.
meeting can go on days trying to negotiate times. You have this executive who his admin won't budge, or you can't move certain things because they're critical to your leader. So you are always on, and
Mm-hmm.
like, and then especially if there's a particular, if there's something happening with the company, or you know those famous reorgs, or those
Oh my
things that you
gosh.
have to stay on, on deck for,
Mm-hmm.
you're just like constant brain power going. And that is tiring. That is
It is.
physically taxing. And I don't know the science behind it, but I'm really interested to kind of see what that's equivalent to from a labor standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think something, because that is very true. Like, you are always on. Like, I will. My husband will ask me when I'm done working, "Are you done working?" I'm like, "I'm never done working." And he looks at me, I'm like, "No,
Exactly.
seriously, I'm never done working."
You're
I
right.
remember I worked with this one executive, and out the gate, like when I started working on his team, like when he was interviewing me for the position, the connection was on point. Fire, fire, fire. And when I started working on his team, one of the first things I said to him, and I think this came with age because I'm too old to be dealing with a lot of the drama and I don't want to deal with it. And I said,
Right.
"Look, I take my time off very seriously, and I'm going to take your time off very seriously. And when you're
Mhm.
out of the office, I need you to be out of the office. I don't want to see an email come from you. I don't want you to be texting people on the weekends." And he had struggled with that in a previous company, in another senior role. And he says, "I'll do the best that I can." Within a few months, like, we stopped that. And it's not always possible. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But there are some cases where you can actually challenge that. And his wife told me and the admin, "I get him at home now."
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, the
Right?
impact that you have the impact not just at work, at
Right.
home.
At
You
home.
you don't know how many times spouses are like, "Oh my gosh, if I need him to come to this, or I need him to be at this," and
Hmm. Hmm.
you're like trying to move things around to make it happen, and you're helping to make their home happier a little
Yes.
bit because you're able to, place him in the place where he's supposed to strategically be with his
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And being a fierce um, uh, gatekeeper
Yes.
when it comes to those type of things, because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, I could do it. No, you can't. No, you
Right.
can't.
Right.
No, you can't. And just, but that takes so much energy and so
Hmm.
much of our sweat equity of trying to get
Yes.
everything done. And it's draining,
Hmm.
because you're just like, I can't describe the feeling of like having to be on and in these intense
Oh my gosh.
negotiations with so many people, especially like I say, when you get into the executive level,
Hmm.
his
Hmm.
with his boss and their
Hmm.
office, and you're trying to negotiate time with his peers. That, oh, I mean, that's
It's
an
nuts.
exercise.
It's nuts. No, but I was going to say, but when you actually can make that impact, when that
Mhm.
happens, like, he
Mhm.
used to joke around and say, "I'm gonna be on vacation and AnneMarie's gonna get on me if I reply to an email." I'm like, "Do you have a delegate?" Like, when you actually can start to step away in the capacity that you can,
Mhm.
understanding that it's not always possible. And
Mhm.
you do have delegates. Now you're grooming people to be in your
Mhm.
succession plan. And you
Mhm.
give yourself an opportunity to move up in the organization because it's not on you anymore. And
It's
so,
yeah, that's so true. That's so true, Emery.
mhm,
I just remember I remember I did get to a point where I just told my managers like, look, I know you're going to text me this weekend, but I'm not going to respond until Monday or Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday
mhm,
morning. I promise you I'll respond because that's my time anyway to kind of look at the week and
sure.
kind of see what's going on. So, and I was like, I just need this time, to be able to, you know, gather myself and get myself together so that I can be prepared for the
Mhm,
week,
mhm,
over at next. And because if I don't, I'm just not going to be of any. I'm just not going to be. I'm going to be drained. I'm going to be
yeah.
so tired. And it's back in the day. I remember when I was supporting my leader. He didn't want me to have a backup admin when I was on vacation. So he wasn't a jerk about it,
No,
but
I
it
know
was
your
just
leader, and
like
he was a good man.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
He just was like, I don't want to have to train somebody to, figure out what I like and what I don't like. I'll just do it myself. And it was so funny because there was one time I was gone for probably about 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and I came back and he goes, "You use Excel to negotiate to slot times between." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "That's unacceptable." And then came this wonderful new feature in Outlook called Find Time, and
Uh-uh.
it's still not delegate. I would say it's not truly delegate friendly, but it's so much easier now,
Yeah,
where you can, hack it a little bit
yeah.
and be able to negotiate time so much easier, and things just get done systematically and automatically, and you don't have to like sit 14 emails back and forth.
Sure.
No, this time won't work or this won't work. You're just kind of able to like, these are all the times we can make work. What can you do within that time? You could pull times out, you could add times, you could do all these different things. And that was probably the best thing that they could have
Mm.
created,
Mhm.
because that took away so much of that back and forth that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
And it's tiring. It's tiring.
It's
And you still got to do your other work.
mhm. Mhm.
I don't know about, other industries, but in our industry, we're not just managing a calendar. We
Mm-mm.
are we're mentoring admins. We are
Mhm.
managing some admins. We
Mhm.
are, putting together um, events, event planning, making sure we're planning the rhythm of the business for the year. In addition to organizational wide events as well, which events sounds like it's fun, by the way. That's not the
It's
case
work.
all the time. It's work.
It's work.
So, yeah. And so, you're doing all of these things that are just a drain. And then you got to go home to
Mhm.
the kids
Mhm.
who want dinner, who need help with homework, who, your husband wants some time, FaceTime,
Heaven
all
forbid
those
you have a
things.
life.
Yeah, yeah. So like I was a very boring person, and what I did find for me, and I don't want to see other admins do this, was I was in the calendar so much. My own personal calendar, I wouldn't even. It didn't exist. Like I'm
Mhm.
not even. I don't see it. It's not there. I'm not planning anything. My husband had to plan everything, and he'd be like, "Okay, on this day at this time, we're gonna do this." Because I did not want any parts of
Yeah.
time management in my
Yes.
personal life. Okay.
Yes. Yes. No, no, no.
So
I get that. I get that cuz I still am okay with some time management in my personal life,
yeah.
but I don't want to do it a whole bunch. But again,
Mm-mm.
like you've got to be able to figure out how to turn your brain off, and it's a different kind of labor. It may
Yes.
not be a physical labor,
Right.
but this going nonstop, and then it and your sleep, and then you start dreaming about stuff, which is why again for me, I've just I've gotten to a place where I am comfortable that if I'm away and I've told you I'm away, I don't even look at emails. I don't even, and again, I know that's not possible for everyone. I
Right.
feel very privileged that I can be in a position where I can say, I'm out of the office.
Right.
Don't. And if it's an emergency, and I've actually in my out of office messages, I will say, "Is this urgent?" Put urgent in the subject line, and urgent means the business is halting.
There's a running joke in my office around my out of office messages.
I want to hear this.
So when I am an inbox zero person, and so
What?
I have to be. I learned it from my manager, and I was like, how? So he gave me his secret. But for me, when I come back from vacation, I'm not coming. I'm not trying to go through 18,000 emails. So I delete my inbox.
You're not the first person I've heard does that, because I used to work with a general manager, and she would, when she came back from vacation, she would delete every single email, and then she'd say, if it's urgent, they're going to get back to me. And it blew my mind because I thought,
Exactly.
what?
That's yeah. And to this day, people are like, I can't do that. I'm like, you actually can. You'd be surprised. And I would, put in my out of office, hey, I delete my inbox when I return. So if it's urgent, this is the day I'll be back. You will want to email me again on this day.
At least you tell
Um,
them that, though. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. I do that pretty much every time I'm going to be gone for a particular a length of time.
Wow.
And people, yeah, that's what they would say. Wow, because no, I'm already behind.
Right,
No, no, I'm not
right.
doing it. And so, like, when I was gone I had this one. I love to do practical jokes on my out of office, and
Mm.
I know some places are okay with it and some aren't. Mine is okay with it, and mine would be like, I'm only reading one of your emails, so be very careful about what you
You know what? That is self care. I love that. I love that.
So if you remember, I'm only going to read one of your emails. So, the other ones get deleted. So make sure you be very selective about how often you send me an
Wow.
email while I'm gone. When you know I'm gone, right?
Right, right, right. No, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Like you said, you can't turn off the notifications. Deleting that entire inbox.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's good that you leave the message so they know
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
that's your action,
Yeah.
and that they have to revisit it. Because she
Yep.
didn't. She just, I remember she came back and I was like, let's look through. And she's like, hold up, delete.
I love it. No,
What now?
that's
What?
hilarious. I'm here for it. I'm here for it because
And she was a
delete.
general manager, and she got stuff done. So she was not a lazy manager.
Right.
She got stuff done. But,
Like I said, if it's important, they're gonna email you again.
yeah,
They
yeah.
email you multiple times while you're gone anyway. So yeah, email me again when you know I'm back. I'll be back on this day. Email me on that day. If it's that important, you'll remember to email me. And I remember one time my manager was like, "Hey, did you get that email?" And I was like, "Did you email it while I was gone?" He was like, "Yeah." I go, "No, I didn't get that email because it's gone. It's deleted."
So I think the moral of this story is make sure you have a good relationship with your manager, because you
Yes.
about to tell him I deleted your stuff while I was on vacation because you didn't follow directions.
You knew I was gone. You knew I wasn't here. What you emailing me for? So yes, have a great relationship with your manager. But that's all about, building that trust with them as well, and being able to like be your authentic self and
Yes,
proving to them that, you know what, yeah, she deletes her inbox, but the work gets done.
yes,
I know I
yes,
could depend on her for anything. And that was something that, he definitely knew that I'm gonna get my stuff done,
yes.
and I'm not going to ever let anything fall by the wayside,
Nope, nope,
where
no.
I can't. And I have maybe, I could tell on three fingers how many times something has fallen by the wayside. Like the time that I,
Sure,
booked him a trip to Vegas and I forgot to book a hotel. But we will talk about that.
sure,
So
sure. So everybody, Your snackable today was a lot more lighthearted than the topics that we've done in the past. I
Yes.
hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it. Janice, what else? What else do we want to say before we sign out? Because this was, I need to go through my inbox. I need to do some deleting.
No, take care of yourself, and where you can teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
That's my takeaway. Teach
Yeah.
people how to treat you, because the more you respond, when you really can't respond, or don't have the time, or don't even have the physical strength sometimes
Mm-hmm.
to respond, you're telling them to do that to you.
Yeah.
And so you have to teach people how to treat you, and just say, I always tell my admins, like, if you're not just support to the team, you got to also do some other work for yourself.
Yes.
And so close your door, put a sign on your door that says, "Hey, I'm heads down until 2 o'clock." And at 2 o'clock, open the door.
Yep.
And that's how you build trust. And I'm going to continue to say that, because really, how you get people to really appreciate your contributions and the work that you do is through the trust that you build.
Yeah.
And building trust is telling the truth and saying, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And I always tell people, sometimes, yes, things run over, and you say, "Hey, I thought that I would be able to get this done by 2 o'clock, but it's looking like it's going to be closer to 2:30. So let check in at 2:30, and I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll help you." And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised at how much people appreciate it, and
Yeah.
they don't get as mad as you would think, when you're just
Mm-mm.
telling them the truth and you do what you say you're going to do. So
Yeah. And I
take
think
care of yourself.
it's an outlier, those individuals that get mad. I think most
Mhm.
of the time people want the same grace, they want the same empathy, they want you to treat them the way they want to be treated. I mean,
Yes.
I'm going to try to be kind. I'm going to try to do exhibit the behaviors that, you know, show that I'm being sensitive to you,
Mhm.
because I might be in a bind and I want you to show me some kindness, because if I
Right.
mess up, I want that honey. I don't want the salt.
That part. That part. Yeah. So teach people how to treat. That's your best self care that you can have.
Yes.
Is teaching people how to treat you, so that you are not mistreating yourself by
Yes.
doing things that you're too exhausted to do, or you don't have the bandwidth to do. You're teaching other people how to behave with you,
Yeah.
and including your manager, and
Yeah.
and just being, hey, I want to deliver the best possible service to you that I can, and this is
Yeah.
what I need from you. And that is self-care,
Yes.
being honest and being clear about what it is that you need to be successful, so that they can help you be successful. And they're gonna make mistakes, and they're gonna
Yep.
forget, because they forget. But you just give that gentle reminder.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I remember one time I told my manager, "I'm finding it hard to deliver my awesome service for you right now,
I
because
love
you
that.
keep doing this." And it was a laughable moment between the
Yeah.
two of us, but it was a real moment. And so that's where we came up with a code word for each other. When I felt like he was going too much over the fence to me,
Mhm.
I'd say, our code word, and he'd be like, "Oh, okay, okay, I'm sorry, okay, I'll do it." Without having to have this conversation over and
Yeah.
over again. It's like
He
we
just
have this,
knew.
yep, our code word.
Nice.
So
Nice.
do that.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you everybody for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed this session. It was
Yes.
lighthearted, but it was a serious topic. But we wanted to depart, like I said, from the usually the meat and potatoes, because self
Mhm.
care is so important. And that last note that you said, Janice, about we're teaching people how to treat us,
Yeah.
and we want them to treat us in a manner where it's conducive to our peace. It's conducive to us
Mhm.
showing up and being our best selves, and
Mhm.
it probably helps them be more respectful to themselves, because if you want to be treated that way, I want to be treated the same way. I need to treat, I want to show people how to treat me. And so I
Exactly.
loved all of it. So thank you, Janice.
No, no problem. No, I think that it's super important. And admins, particularly this role is one of those roles where people will often take advantage
Mm.
of the time. that you have to give, and they will often take advantage of you not feeling like you can say no or set those boundaries that you need to
Yeah.
set. And so, teaching people how to treat you is super important in order for you to like really be able to survive and stay successful, because
Yes.
you're not going to be able to thrive and continue to perform well when you are drained. Things
No.
drop.
No.
Why? Because we're human.
Yep.
And so, these are things that you shouldn't beat yourself up because you can't do something. No, you are a human. Your body's telling you. What they say, the body keeps count. Your
Yes.
body is
Oh, yeah.
telling you you need to take a break. Take a
Yes.
break and just be honest about it. And hey, I need to take a beat, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to go, recover for a minute, and I'll be back better than
Yep.
ever. That's what
Yep.
it's gonna do. So
Nice.
thank you guys for being part of this fun, lighthearted conversation that we had. There'll be many more,
Yes.
and because that's just how we are. And thank you for being part of this. And AnneMarie, check out AnneMarie's site, Own Your Power with AnneMarie. She
Yep.
has an Instagram page. She has a website. All these linked on our YouTube page. Subscribe and follow and share with others. If you know other EAs or chief of staff who could benefit from our conversations, please share this with them. And don't forget to put your comments and your suggestions and feedback in our YouTube page as well, so that we can know that we are providing value to you, as well as able to try to tackle some of those things that you may be going through.
And I want to put a quick plug for you too, Janice, because I love that you always remember me. Janice, she's got her stuff coming too. So right now she doesn't have a web page, but we both have LinkedIn. She's got a LinkedIn. Connect with her on
Yes.
LinkedIn, and
Yes.
and just keep abreast of the things that she's got going on, because she's going to have her web page go live shortly here. And so then you'll be able to
Shortly.
get with me, you'll be able to get with her, and just see the amazing things that we're doing, just to make sure that these roles get the visibility, the attention, and the respect they deserve.
Yes, yes. All that. We're going to get it all. We're
All
going
of
to get it
it.
all together. We're going to be here. We're here for you. Like I said, I've done this for a long time. I'm still very passionate about the role. And AnneMarie, she's the phenom. So, you can always get all the good information from her and get that book.
The Chief of Staff, it's available on Amazon. It's available on in Ingram Spark. The links are in the YouTube, so you can get it there. And then if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a Chief of Staff Academy that I've just kicked off. It sounds exciting. You want to connect with me so I can talk to you about how you can up level your skills, whether you are an aspiring Chief of Staff or a current Chief of Staff. So get with me and let's talk about that.
All right. Well, thank you all. And we look forward to see you in the next episode that we have coming.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Okay. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.